Okay, so this is the first time I'm sharing this, and I told Tracy I would only, hey Julie, I would only do it privately in a group because I am still on my own journey. Um, but I really want you all to know how many things I've tried, everything that I've been through, and what the last 2 years have felt like for me. And how this freedom and hope has completely given me hope and has changed my life. So I wanted to start with that. So I'm going to backtrack, and I did my best to try and make this cohesive. So, okay, but it's the first time really telling this story. So I'm just going to dig in. So for me, it all started from that I can really pinpoint in the fall of 2014. I felt great at Summit, came back and decided to push for 15 star in my business. And Neil and I were leaving to go to England in December. And so it was just this big push. And if I'll let you know, like whenever you're qualifying just for 1 or 2 star diamond, it's super stressful because you have to keep like everything intact for 6 straight weeks. Well, when you have 15 things you're trying to keep intact, it is super stressful. So, and plus like gearing up to leave and everything. So that I remember just always feeling a sense of like high level of stress. We went to England. We hit 15 star. We went to England, and as awesome as it was in England, it was a concerted effort to try and stay in touch with my team with a 5 to 9 hour time zone difference and run my business, not be able to have my own autonomy and get in the car and drive somewhere. And just being very limited with my resources. And when we came back from England 3 months later, I had learned, and I won't get into details about this, but my daughter wanted to go to counseling, and she had shared with me some struggles she was going through at 13 years old. Didn't know what they were. A couple months later, she finally shared with me in counseling, and that completely, totally derailed me. And I remember throughout 2015, it was really hard for me to get out of bed. All I wanted to do was be there for my daughter, not neglect my other 2 children. I had a huge 15 star business now to run, people asking me questions, still trying to build my business, still hitting my numbers, still hitting Success Club. And literally it took every ounce of energy I had to just make it through the day and do the bare minimum so that I could be there for my daughter while she was going through some personal struggles. Things got better towards the end of 2015, and then my other daughter started having particular struggles as well, kind of really isolating herself, just had such a flat affect, was really depressed. And I'm like, oh God, here we go again. And again, running my business, trying to have it grow and so on and meet everybody's needs. And I remember just the stress being so overwhelming. And throughout that whole time, I continued to gain weight. So to backtrack, I made this picture. When all this started, like when I said in right after Summit of 2014, this is what I look like. I was like 125 pounds probably here. So that's what I look like. And I haven't looked like that in years. And through all of that, I continued to gain weight, I would exercise, I would do everything I could, and the weight kept coming on. And so last year, almost a year ago, in 2016, I started having a lot of aches and pains. My joints would hurt, my back hurt so badly. It would hurt to go on walks. It exhausted me. I would literally walk 5 houses down and be exhausted. My skin was looking really dry and itchy. It looked ashy. My hair was really dry and brittle, and it was breaking. I had a really hard time concentrating. I could sleep literally for 9 or 10 hours, and I'd be exhausted by like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I was literally tired all the time. And I kept gaining weight. And so I called a friend of mine who was a physician that I really trust. And I was like, these are all really weird, random symptoms, but I don't feel great. What is wrong with me? And he said, Shay, it sounds like you have symptoms of some form of autoimmune disease. You should get it checked out. So I'm like, oh my God. So I looked, he goes, it sounds like you maybe have like your hypothyroid. And I'm like, okay, all right. So of course I dove into the research. I went to a functional medicine doctor, and that's where my journey started to try and fix what was going on. And I want you to know, for those of you that don't know me, I'm 44. I am certified in holistic health and nutrition. I believe with all my heart that things can be resolved every symptom can be resolved if you figure out what's causing it. I know inflammation is the number one cause of most diseases out there, but yet I couldn't figure out why I was having so many symptoms and so much inflammation when I was eating clean, because I believe in everything organic. I believe in clean eating. I don't do chemicals. I am so much of a naturopath when it comes to my lifestyle. I'm like, why do I feel this way? What is going on with me? I'm not your average person that eats processed foods and sodas and all of that. So I dug in and I did the portion fix. And, it worked a little bit, but I still felt like crap. I went to a functional medicine doctor, and she ran a bunch of tests on me. And certain markers came back, inflammatory. And so I read, she suggested I read The Autoimmune Solution by Dr. Amy Myers. I read that whole book. I had so many of those symptoms. You take a test, you find out where you are on a scale of autoimmune. Thank goodness I wasn't full-blown autoimmune, but I was definitely on the spectrum. Like 1 out of 5 being autoimmune. I was like a 3.5 to a 4. So I followed her protocol in the back of the book, along with the Ultimate Reset. So I did the Ultimate Reset, which for those of you don't know is a 3-week detox, because I'm like, I seriously need to do a detox, but I need to take out foods so I can alleviate these symptoms. Totally did that, and a lot of my symptoms resided, which was amazing. So I knew I was on the right track. But as far as the weight, I lost very minimal weight. But at least I felt like, okay, I'm doing something right. So then I'm like, okay, what is my next step? I need to lose weight. I was like 145 pounds now. I'm 5'2", just so you know. I'm small and short. I was doing the workouts. And so I said, thought to myself, maybe I need to do a workout specifically for me, like my body type and everything. So I called a trainer that I really adore, and he wrote out this entire personalized workout program for me. The workouts were an hour long. I did those to a T, didn't lose any weight. I've had coaches come over and do the workouts with me, and they're like, holy crap, these workouts kick your butt. They are so hard. I was doing that along with Portion Fix, didn't lose any weight. None. Started going to a chiropractor because I had a lot of, my back still hurt quite a bit. I still had some inflammation. So I tried that, and I did that for the next 6 months. So then I thought, well, let me not do Portion Fix. Let me just get rid of carbs. Carbs seem to always be the thing that my body responds to if I get rid of them. So I did South Beach. So South Beach is typically a low carb, low fat, higher protein. Did that for a month. Didn't lose any weight, along with the workouts. So then I read somewhere that I could have made to check heavy metal poisoning. Oh, I read Sagi Kaleb's book, Why She's Losing Weight and You're Not. So I read that, and there's 9 different chapters, each on a certain reason why you may not. And I thought, wow, I scored kind of high on the heavy metal, maybe heavy metals, because I have these birth control that's like these little metals. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Did a whole heavy metal detox with the diet that goes along with it. Still didn't lose weight. And as a matter of fact, I continued to actually gain weight. Then I read Medical Medium, and I followed his protocol to do the Epstein-Barr virus detox, since Epstein-Barr lodges in your thyroid and your liver and a lot of the places where I had high markers on the tests. So I did that protocol. Didn't lose any weight. I did essential oils, and still do because I love them, but I do specific oils that are antiviral and anti-cancer type oils, because anything that's going to be causing my body stress or inflammation, I'm trying to get rid of. This was my year last year. Then I did a parasite cleanse because I had very strong reason to believe I also had parasites based on physical evidence. So I did a very strict parasite cleanse that was absolutely disgusting, and I'm glad I did it because that was something that needed to be done. Felt really good after doing that, but guess what? Still didn't lose any weight. So then I moved on, and in the fall, now we've gone 6 months and I'm trying all of these different things that can say that has all the symptoms I have. Okay, that's got to be it. Here we go. I'm going to do it. No result. Obviously, I'm making my body healthier and cleaner and stronger, but why am I not losing weight? So I kind of went back to Portion Fix. I drank 2 shakes a day because I remember some of my doctors saying, thank goodness you were drinking your Shakeology the whole time, because at least that was protecting you from a full-blown autoimmune disease, because it reduces inflammation so much and had so many benefits. So I'm thankful I did that. So back when I looked like this, I was drinking 2 shakes a day. So I'm like, that worked then. I'm going to do the same workouts, which was Chalene Extreme, and do the diet I did then. No results. And then when a weekend would come around, Neil and I would go out to eat. I would get I would get something healthy, and guess what? I gained weight. I'm like, I keep gaining weight. What is freaking wrong with me? So I did food sensitivity testing, and came back that I was sensitive to certain foods, a lot of which I was eating: a sweet potato, eggs, garlic. Crazy stuff, right? Totally healthy stuff, but would cause inflammation. So I eliminated all of that. And I felt after a while, what the flippin' am I able to eat? So I eliminated the foods I was sensitive to, and some of the swelling went down, but then sort of came back. So in October, I had so much swelling in my abdomen. I went to the emergency room. I was lying in bed at 3 o'clock in the morning in so much pain. And I looked at Neil, I'm like, I don't know what is wrong with me, because I'm doing everything to be healthy, and it's like I'm pregnant, but I'm not, and I don't know how to make this go away. And I was in so much pain. We went to the emergency room, and guess what? Everything came back normal. And they agreed it looked grossly odd, but they couldn't tell me what it was. Like, they had no idea. So that was a $3,000 bill. I will tell you, I did my taxes. I've spent over $22,000 on doctors and tests last year trying to figure out why my body was reacting the way it was and what it was reacting to. So, okay, this part's going to upset me. In December, I really started to feel like I would see myself in Christmas pictures and holiday pictures, and I remember thinking, I'm so fat. I didn't even recognize myself in pictures. I didn't want people to tag me on Facebook. I would wear big baggy shirts. I had to present at Summit, and I didn't know what to wear on stage, because here I am, certified health and nutrition coach, and I was a freaking balloon. And by December, I had gotten up to 160 pounds. And honestly, I remember thinking, I don't know what to do to fix this. And what the hell kind of weight am I going to be this time next year? Am I going to be 180 or 190 pounds? Like, what is... what's my future? Like, am I just destined to continue to gain weight? And I really had felt like, geez, God, give me a freaking break. I have tried everything. And of course, every doctor I went to, so I went to a GI doctor and he wanted to run all these tests on me. I went to a conventional doctor and they wanted to give me pills for my symptoms. I'm like, I know it, pills aren't going to fix the problem. I want to know what the problem is. So I became my own ambassador in trying to figure out what the problem was. And I thought back, and even the functional medicine doctors trying to convince me I had Lyme disease, even though I had no markers for Lyme disease. You have Lyme disease. That's not what it is. People online would convince me it was my breast implants. I knew in my freaking heart it wasn't my breast implants. I've had them my entire life. I had this set for like 5 years prior to all this. I knew it wasn't that. It was something else, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and I felt totally helpless. And I remember wanting to get a shirt made because I'm in the business that I'm online and I'm talking to people and I'm about weight loss and looking great and feeling great. And I felt so desperate for the first time in my entire life for an answer. And I wanted to get a shirt made that says, "My physique doesn't reflect my efforts," because I have freaking tried everything. And I just felt like helpless. I would be around Neil, and I felt like when we met new people, they would look at him, and he's, I think, so hot and so in shape. And I felt like I was like this short, fat, frumpy wife. And I felt like they were thinking, why is he with her? How is she a health and nutrition coach? Like, all of these thoughts went through my head. Like, I felt judged, all because of my own physical insecurities. I got so tired of having to find baggy clothes and shirts that would hide me, that I didn't feel sexy and I didn't feel pretty in. And I was angry. I had to spend money on clothes to hide whatever problem I had. I remember I went to Walgreens one day. Neil was in England in August last year. And I went to the checkout, and the lady behind the counter says, "Oh my God." She goes, "Oh, I know you. You know, you're Shay. You're Neil's wife. I see you online on your Facebook all the time." And I'm like, "Yeah, hi." And she goes, "Oh, you're pregnant. Oh my God, you're pregnant." And I'm like, no, I'm not. And she goes, "Yeah, you are. You're pregnant. You can admit it to me." And I was, "No, I'm not." And then she says, "Well, you don't look like that online." I literally didn't even want to pay for what I was buying. I wanted to walk out and just sob in my car. And I called Neil in England and I told him what had happened. And I haven't gone back to that Walgreens since. Because I just couldn't want to. And then a couple months later, I had my eyebrows microdermed, and I was lying there, and when I sit up, my stomach would protrude. And the girl goes, "Oh my God, how many more weeks till you're due?" And with this particular time, I just went with it. I'm like, "Oh, I got a few more weeks left," because I'm like, I don't even know what to say. So I got to a point where I just felt like, I got to this point a lot where I felt like, why freaking bother? I've tried everything. I work out so hard. I do everything I know to do. I spend money on organic food. I do so much right. And I continue to gain weight. So why bother? And I felt scared. I felt helpless. I felt grossly unattractive. And I saw pictures of myself, and the ones I post online, just of my face at a certain angle with a filter, just so I could put pictures online, because that's what I have to do as a coach. And it felt horrible. So this was me coming into this year at 161 pounds. And I had my daughter take that picture. You can see the difference if I hold them side by side. It'll do. I had my daughter take that picture because I was too humiliated to have my husband see me. And I was like, okay, I got to keep trying. I got no choice. So I did the ultimate reset. I did the 3-day refresh. 3-day refresh hasn't worked for me. But the ultimate reset, I got from 161 in that picture to 150. which is crazy to think, because when I had Reagan, I was 150 pounds, and now I'm like, oh my God, I don't even have a baby and I'm this weight. But I am where you am, right? You got to celebrate where you are. So I was like, okay, I'm 150 pounds. So then I went back to Portion Fix and things like that, and the weight started to slowly creep up. And I'm like, well, I can't live on the Ultimate Reset. That's not a convenient lifestyle. So I did my best with working out and what I could do. And from February onward, nothing happened. I stopped gaining, kept starting to gain the weight back, and I stayed the same for 2 months. Everything I was doing, no weight loss. And it started creeping back up. So in April, I was 155 pounds. And so finally, 6 weeks ago today, 6 weeks ago last night, Wednesday night, I was lying in bed and I said to Neil, I am praying for a solution. I need an answer given to me, because I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to go through this anymore. And I need a solution that I can be a social wife with you. I can go out and have a glass of wine or a cocktail and like a rum and soda water and not feel like, and then know I'm going to gain 2 pounds the next day, because we're a social couple. I need something that goes with our lifestyle. I need to be able to go out to eat and not feel like I have to bring my own food or my own salad and my own dressing, and I can't make myself crazy. I need an answer that works for our lifestyle, that I can do the rest of my life and that I see results. And I literally prayed that night for an answer. And 6 weeks ago today, I went to get my hair done, and I was scrolling through my phone, and in a leader group, a Beachbody leader group, one of the coaches had posted about, just as there's not one workout plan for everybody. There's not one way of life of eating for everybody. And can we have a more broad spectrum of meal plans to offer clients? And so I read on, and she was talking about abdominal bloating, aches and pains, restlessness, uncontrollable binging, cravings. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And it kept coming back to the bloating. And I'm like, this is me. This is me. And I wrote her, and she was starting a group just for top coaches on intermittent fasting and low carb, high fat. And I said, put me in it. Like, I surrender to you. Put me in it. I have to try something. This might be the answer to my prayers. And so I started. That was a Thursday. I literally started the very next day. And thank goodness for fasting. I went grocery shopping while I was fasting. It wasn't like I had a whole lot to do. I'm like, right, I just don't eat until I get my food. So this was my day one. I was 155 pounds. And you can see I'm muscular from working out. Look at my abs, but I protrude. My stomach was so far past my ridiculous double D fake boobs, I look pregnant. That was my day one, and I went all in. And 5 weeks, and in the past, now it's been 6 weeks, I have read the Obesity Code. I've read so many books. I've watched YouTube, and I have not shared publicly because I feel like I'm still a teacher. I'm still a student, and I'm not ready to be a teacher. I'm not ready to kind of come out of the closet and share what I'm doing, because I have such a long way to go. But everything I have learned with intermittent fasting and low carb, high fat, and we joke because we call it the freedom and hope, because I finally have freedom from food. I don't have to think about it, plan for it. It's not, I can, freedom from hating it. Like, it tastes crappy and gross. The food is amazing. I feel like I have broken the chains. I feel like I can actually have a life, and this is something I can do the rest of my life, because the food is amazing. The food is in the quality that I stand behind. Neil and I can do it socially. I can have LaCroix and rum and it doesn't jam me up. I don't gain weight, and I have done nothing but continually lose weight for the last now 6 weeks. Albeit it's been very, very slow weight loss for me. It's been like a pound a week. But I'm losing weight for the first time in 2.5 years. And I feel amazing. I'm completely symptom free. And everything I have read about the science makes sense. The most important book I have read personally was The Obesity Code. Completely changed the way I thought and validated everything I had been through and tried and why it didn't work. And so this is me now. And this was me 5 weeks ago. And for the first time, I have a waist. I have curves. I can fit into smaller clothes. And I'm going in the direction I have been longing to go in for the last 2.5 years. And so after this, I can say with 100% belief that it's all about the hormones, because no diet, no way of life, no meal plan or meal structure targets hormones. And I've done calories, I've done moving macros around, I've done crazy workouts, I had low calorie, I tried freaking everything which I shared to you, and nothing worked, because none of those focus on insulin in your hormones. And the more I have learned about how hormones affect weight gain and how stress triggers it, I think back about when all of this started for me was when I really pushed for my business to go to a level that I didn't even think it could go to, maintain that while living overseas, and then coming back and then just having my freaking heart broken with my daughter. And living in that high level of stress, I am convinced has created this. And this way of life is slowly fixing that. It's slowly normalizing that. My body's finally not on high alert inflammation, and it's working. And I could never, ever go back to anything else ever again, because I'm so in love with the last 6 weeks of my life, and I finally have hope. And so, and one thing with insulin, a lot of this all triggers from insulin, and there's really no good tests for insulin because it fluctuates throughout the day. And that's one of the hormones that they never tested. And so I'm personally convinced it's not about calories, it's not how you work out, because like I said, I wanted to wear a shirt saying my efforts, my body does not reflect my efforts. But nothing I had done thus far concentrated on hormones, except this. And so what I do now, I do low carb, high fat. 2 days a week, I do a 24-hour fast. And I continue my Shakeology, because truly cutting out so many of the other carbohydrates, I know I'm not getting the nutrients and probiotics and digestive enzymes and everything my body needs. So now my Shakeology is more valuable than ever because it's the sole thing that's giving my body nutrients. And I feel amazing. And my binge cravings are gone. We can go out, we can be social, I can be normal, I can find things to eat when our friends have food at a party. I can make it work. And I don't look like that person that's like, oh, can you do this and that? Like, I can find stuff and I can feel normal and human again. And this may or may not be the answer for you, but I wanted to share privately what it's done for me, everything I have tried, what didn't work, and why I am absolutely in love with having freedom and hope for the first time in a really, really long time. And so, anyway, that is all I have. And I'll end it there. So I appreciate you jumping on live and hearing my story. And that's all I got. So, all right, take care.